And good morning again, everybody. This is Ralph, and in this video, I want to talk about how to get unstuck in life. If you're stuck and you don't know why, there is a very strong likelihood that the law of assumption has a whole lot to do with it. The law of assumption is one of those laws that can work for you. It can also work against you because a lot of people don't even know the law of assumption exists. Now, what is the law of assumption? The law of assumption states very basically that what is impressed in your subconscious mind will later become expressed into your outer world. And the thing about thoughts that have been impressed upon our subconscious mind is that most people are not consciously aware that those thoughts have been implanted. When you're talking about these are thoughts that have been impressed upon your subconscious mind, oftentimes from an early age, like, 5, 6, 7, back when you were just too young to say, hey, no, that doesn't make sense. That's when a lot of these thoughts get impressed on our subconscious mind, and they will lead to the successes or the failures that we have later on in life, unless we decide to do something about them. And when we're talking about being stuck in life, we're not just talking about people who get stuck at low levels of performance. Yes, there are examples of people like that, but there are also classic examples of people who get stuck at very high levels of performance. People who are like strong 5-figure earners. They want to become 6-figure earners. They set a goal, they never attain it. I know a guy who was raised in a family of strong 5-figure earners. He set his goal to become a millionaire by the time he was 30. He never really made it by the time he was 30. However, he gave himself an extension. He said, by the time I retire, I want to be a millionaire. Never quite met that deadline either. And one of the reasons why this guy never really made it is because of what was impressed in his subconscious mind from childhood. From childhood, he was raised in I don't really want to say a poor family, but a fairly upwardly mobile poor family, let's just say. They had a farm, they had some property, and the father was into some business pursuits. But I mean, nobody really made radical success in that family. And this guy wanted to be the first millionaire in the family. Why did he never make it? Well, I can look back at his life. I can look back at, how I saw him perform in the workplace. And it's like, yeah, he was always acting like he never really wanted to live up to his full potential. He was tapped out for management at this one company that he stayed with for a number of years. I think about 3 or 4 decades. And he never really excelled as a manager because he really was more of the mindset of a worker. He would have made an excellent worker. He did make an excellent worker. But what doomed him as a manager is his mindset. Instead of delegating authority and telling his workers what to do, oftentimes he would delegate the authority, yes, and then get down there on the shop floor and show the workers how the work was to be done. So he would end up doing a lot of the work for his own employees. Upper management saw this happening and said, no, you can't be doing this. We want to see you upstairs in that office with your feet up on the table, watching the workers down below do all the work for you. He just couldn't get that through his head. And so that doomed him as a manager. And a lot of that was because of the subconscious thoughts impressed upon him during early formative years of childhood. And that is, if you want anything in life, you got to work hard. You got to work hard to get it. You got to get out there and sweat on the shop floor. He never was able to get it through his head that mental work is also work. You don't just work with your back. You've got to find a way to work with your mind if you want to really excel and scale business success in life. He never got that. And I never really understood that about him either until I started learning about the law of assumption and applying that into my own life too. But yes, people can be stuck, at poverty level, generational poverty, where people are just raised with the idea that the government is there to help us. The government is there to give us welfare, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, all these other perks, and government housing, eating the government cheese, and we really don't have to produce much in life at all. Then that's the lower level poverty, where people can get stuck, and that's sad. Now there's upper level poverty too, where people can get stuck, and that's equally as sad because people never live up to their full potential. They never really live up to their full dreams, where people are stuck like at the 5-figure earning level, and they think that's all I can do because, and they don't express this consciously, but this is what's been impressed subconsciously in their minds. They think that's the best they can do because that's the best their father could do. That's the best their mother could do. That's the best their grandparents could do. And they can go right back through the family tree and think to themselves on a subconscious level, maybe even sometimes on a conscious level, I can't do any better because this is where my family has traditionally been. Then you get people who get stuck at the 6-figure earning level. They want to become millionaires. They're 6-figure earners. They get stuck there because they think, okay, my dad was a lawyer, my mother was an accountant, or vice versa. They were strong 6-figure earners. That's the best I can do. I don't want to be the first in my family. They're saying this to themselves subconsciously. I can't be the first member in my family to break out of this pattern. I've just got to follow this pattern. And a lot of people are following the pattern, not knowing that the pattern exists in the first place. And so, yeah, you got people stuck in poverty, stay stuck in poverty because they don't know there's a program running in the back of their mind keeping them stuck in poverty. Get people stuck in home business. I see this a lot. I've been in home-based business, been working this as my main gig. I mean, working from home, earning a full-time paycheck, been doing this since 2011. So, yeah, 16 years now, 15, 16 years. And in that time period, I've seen people on social media working 2 jobs, their full-time job plus their home-based business, saying, okay, my full-time job is paying my bills, good attitude to have, nothing wrong with that. And with my part-time business, my home-based business, I'm building my dream. And they get on social media day after day after day talking about grinding. They're grinding every day, working a full-time job, then coming back home, grinding to build their dreams. And some of these folks have been grinding for like 10, 15, 20 years, not really building their dream. Unless their dream is to be working a full-time job and then coming home and grinding at a part-time home-based business that never amounts to anything. Because, I mean, that seems to be what they've managed to accomplish in their life. And why do they do this? Well, I think it has to do with a little subconscious programming that my generation was raised with, my dad's generation was raised with, and something that we've passed on to even the present generation. And that's what I'm going to call the 40-40-40 rule. The 40-40-40 rule to success, in a nutshell, is this. It's where your parents tell you, you need to go out there, Get a good job with a good company. Work 40 hours a week working that job with that good company. Stay with it for 40 years. The end of 40 years, you get a retirement. They might give you a gold watch, and you retire on 40% of what you used to earn back when you were working. And a lot of people think of this as the American dream. I think of it more as the American nightmare. I've seen people who, work this 40-40-40 plan, you spend 40 years of their life not building their dream, but just paying their bills, hoping that by the time they retire, Social Security is still there, that pension is still there. And we hear sad stories about companies where the pension plans get robbed. And that is sad. People don't even have that. And, I've seen people who retire spending 40 years, the best 40 years of their life, working an outside job for a company that oftentimes doesn't really appreciate their work. And then they retire and they live maybe 5, 10 years after that, living in want, living sometimes in regret, living sometimes, just sitting on the couch, watching TV, not having anything else in life to do. And they end up just planting themselves in an early grave. I live not too far away from a guy who lived out this plan, this American nightmare in spades. I mean, he spent over 40 years working as a truck driver with the same company, and it was a good company. It was a good life for him while it lasted, and he enjoyed it. He enjoyed that over the road trucker life. But the sad thing is, his wife was waiting for him to retire so that they could enjoy their retirement together. A few years before he could retire, his wife died unexpectedly, massive heart attack. Died there on the living room floor before the medics could get there to give life-saving treatment. And I mean, he had to deal with that passing. And then he did end up retiring about 5 years after her death, lived another 5 years in retirement, drinking himself to death. He was a pretty active alcoholic before he retired. Kind of makes you wonder, over the road trucker, also an active alcoholic. Kind of bad mojo there. But then after he retired, what little self-control he had went out the window. He was drinking all the time. He went downhill fast. We buried him about 5 years after he retired. Not really the American dream, but a lot of people get this impressed in their subconscious mind. This is what the plan is. This is what I have to do in order to make my way in life. And there's nothing wrong, really, with working a full-time job, paying your bills while you're working a home-based business part-time, building your dreams. But at some point, you do have to launch and say to yourself, okay, I've got my home-based business built up to the point now where it can support me. Now I'm ready to let the full-time job go and just go 100% into the home-based business thing. And I've seen a lot of people that just can't launch it that way. They still stay stuck hanging on to the full-time job for whatever reason. For some folks, it's, the dental plan, the benefits, health benefits, sense of security, and all that can be true. But what can also be true, they've still got this subconscious tape playing in the back of their mind. They can't let that full-time job go until retirement. And then they retire after 40 years, get that gold watch, go full-time into their home-based business, start living the life of their dreams while they still have maybe 5, 10, 20 years left ahead of them. Wouldn't it be so much more powerful to start living that life in your 30s instead of your 60s or your 70s? And so, yeah, you get people that get stuck in home-based business because of the law of assumption. There's something implanted in the back of their mind keeping them stuck They don't know it's there, and they can't get unstuck. Other people, 6, even 7-figure earners, get stuck at certain income plateaus, certain income levels. A guru that I follow on YouTube, Dr. Pillai, he once worked with a 6-figure earner who wanted to become a millionaire, a 7-figure earner. So he went to Dr. Pillai and he said, "Can you give me a mantra, in Sanskrit that I can be repeating to myself that will empower me to go from 6 figures to 7 figures?" Dr. Pillai said, "Sure, that's what I do. That's my business. That's my job." So yeah, he crafted a mantra for this man in Sanskrit, taught him what the mantra in Sanskrit, taught him what the mantra meant, said, "Just repeat this to yourself every day. Give yourself time. You'll be earning 7 figures." Well, it worked. The guy used the mantra, applied it every day, built his business up from 6 figures to 7 figures, became a millionaire, and then got stuck at that level. And he wanted to know, what do I have to do to go from being a millionaire to becoming a billionaire? Went back to Dr. Pillai, said, "Okay, you gave me this mantra in Sanskrit. It worked beautifully. I am now a millionaire. Can you now give me a mantra that will take me to 7 figures a year? Make me a millionaire?" So Dr. Pillai said, "Sure." It's actually very simple. Just say to yourself every day, "I am millionaire. I am millionaire." The guy said, "Wait, doesn't it have to be in Sanskrit?" Dr. Pillai said, "No. Your subconscious mind knows English, right? Saying it in English is powerful enough. Just say to yourself every day, 'I am a millionaire,' and plant that new subconscious thought into your subconscious mind. Let that take over." And so the power of assumption, what we impress upon our subconscious mind, we will and do later express into our outer world, is a very powerful thing. Now, how do we overcome it? I mean, if you've got positive thoughts implanted in your subconscious mind, and a lot of us do, a lot of us have a mixture of positive subconscious thoughts implanted in the subconscious mind, mixed with some negative stuff, negative thoughts that keep us down. And what happens is the more that we focus subconsciously on the negative, the stronger the negative thoughts grow and the weaker we become in our outer world. But when we choose to become aware of those subconscious thoughts that have been impressed upon our subconscious mind, and we become aware of them, we recognize them, we choose to weed out these bad ones, strengthen these good ones. A lot of times you don't even have to focus on weeding out the bad ones. Just quit feeding them, quit focusing on them. Start feeding the more positive ones instead. And then when you start doing that, the law of assumption can start working for you instead of against you. Now, a lot of people, when it comes to money, can have this subconscious thought running in the back of their minds: money is the root of all evil. And that's a very powerful one because it's said to them in the family, it's said to them in the church, they're told it's in the Bible. And actually, the Bible doesn't say that. The actual Bible verse says the love of money, or the inordinate love of money, is the root of all evil. Money itself is neutral. Money itself is just a tool that we use to do things in life with. Money is an energy of abundance that brings with it freedom, choices. You get better choices in life when you have more money than you do when you're broke. When you're broke, your choices are limited. your choices are not that abundant. But when you have more money, you have more choices. You have more freedom to express yourself more fully. And the more money that you have coming in on a recurring basis, the more freedom that you have. Because instead of trading your time for money, even if it's out there helping other people in life, the less time that you spend trading your time and your life for money, the more time you have to actually enjoy your life and have personal freedom. But for a lot of people, that thought is implanted. How do you overcome that? Well, Joseph Murphy, it's a guy that I love to read. And I mean, he has several different ways that you can overcome that voice in the back of your head telling you that money is a root of all evil. And he looks upon it as being God is the source of my supply. I have everything I need. He puts it this way: infinite intelligence is the source of my supply, and all of my needs are now met instantaneously. Now, that is something that is also can be implanted in our subconscious mind from childhood. God is good. God is with me. God is my father. God is my mother. I am a child of God. A lot of religions impress this in the minds of the youth at an early age. And a lot of people hear these thoughts and they think, well, these are good, solid, pious thoughts. Unfortunately, it has no bearing on my reality, and they choose not to strengthen that. However, if you do choose to strengthen that, odds are you've got that thought implanted in the back of your head. Thoughts like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If I need to become a six-figure earner, I can do that through the God power that dwells within me. If I need to become a seven-figure earner in order to meet my goals in life, maybe nobody else in the family has ever done this. Maybe everybody else in my family has lived and died in poverty, or lived and died at this five-figure level or the six-figure level, but I can do all things through the God power that dwells within me. Name that, claim that, activate that in your life, start turning that into your reality. But yeah, if you've got some negative programming going on in your subconscious, and we all do, spend a little bit of time in meditation, a little bit of time in mindfulness, look at the opportunities that you've had in life. Can you see areas in which you've been self-sabotaging? Have you been seeing areas in which you hit a glass wall, you hit a glass ceiling? You don't know why, but it just seems like your mind is telling you, you can go this far, this high, no further. Why is that glass ceiling there? Why are you hitting that glass wall? Why are you hitting that barrier? Is it because of the circumstances in your life that other people have imposed upon you? Or is it because of the circumstances in your life that you have imposed upon yourself because of the law of assumption? Because of some faulty programming going on in your subconscious that is keeping you stuck. Find out what that is, and you don't even need to find out exactly what that is. Just recognize I've got something going on in the back of my mind that's working against me, and I'm tired of this. I want to go beyond this level. And then start focusing on the positive things that have been impressed in your subconscious mind. And there are a number of positive things. People may not believe that they can go from being a five-figure earner to being a seven-figure earner, because that's just too big of a jump. But another positive affirmation that we can use that will not go against your subconscious programming is this. A nice affirmation that I read in the works of Joseph Murphy. He learned it from another gentleman, and that affirmation is, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. It's a simple affirmation. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. You're not telling yourself, I'm going to become a millionaire by lunchtime next Tuesday, even though I'm only making 5 figures or maybe even less than 5 figures today. But you are telling yourself something believable and something that's positive and something that is actually very powerful. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Jim Rohn once noted, if you just improve yourself by 1% every day and keep improving yourself just by 1% every single day, by the end of 6 months, you won't recognize yourself, because the compounding effect of just a minor 1% improvement in your life, day after day after day, the end of 6 months, you're going to see 6x growth within that area of life that you are focusing on. And it's doable. Anybody can take a small little goal and say, I'm going to do this today, and then do it again tomorrow and increase it by 1%, and then do it again the day after that, increasing it by 1%, so on and so forth. By the end of 6 months, you're going to be a changed person. And you're going to be working with your subconscious mind that says, yeah, that's possible. Every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Very simple affirmation. Another affirmation that is available, and I don't care what religion you are, there is an esoteric truth that has been taught in every religion out there. Every religion worthy of the name passes this esoteric truth on from generation to generation. And the esoteric truth is this: you are a child of God. Now let that land. You are a child of God. And there is an element of the divine implanted within you, just as the DNA of your mother and your father can be found within you. There is a divine encoding that is also implanted within you as a child of God. And this is what gives Bible verses like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, so much power. Because people realize this truth. Yeah, God is our heavenly Father. God is our heavenly Mother. God is our heavenly parent. It's stated different ways in different religious and spiritual traditions, but the basic esoteric truth is there. You are a child of the divine source. You have something of the divine source living within you. Some people may say, this is the Christ that dwells within me. Other people may say, this is the Holy Spirit that dwells within me. Other people will say, okay, this is the Buddha nature, the Krishna consciousness, the Christ consciousness. People put it in different ways according to different religious traditions, but the basic truth is the same. The poet Rumi used to say, you see me, you see these clothes that I am wearing. It is not me that fills these robes. It is Allah who fills these robes within me. Allah dwells within me. Allah is filling out these robes, not me. You see, the same thought in the Islamic tradition, especially amongst the Sufis, the mystical school of the Sufis, God bless them. It's like, yeah, Allah lives within my heart. Christ lives within my heart. Krishna lives within my heart. I can do all things through God who dwells within me. If that thought is lurking in the back of your subconscious mind, however weak and dormant it might be, whip it out of there and use it. Put it into faithful action. Start telling that to yourself. Because I would say if you went to Sunday school, if you spent any time listening to televangelists, if you spent any time growing up in synagogue, in a mosque, in a church, in a temple somewhere, this esoteric truth has been implanted back there. And even if no one in your life ever told you this until now, the divine source has already implanted this in your heart, and it's there. Take it from your heart into your subconscious. Take it from your heart into your full awakening consciousness, and just start telling yourself, I can do all things through God who dwells within me. And then back that up just by taking simple action. Further simple affirmations followed by simple aligned actions. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. I may not be a six-figure earner by tomorrow, but I am making steady progress towards that goal on a daily basis. I may not be in a perfect relationship by tomorrow, but you know what? Every day I am going to be making some progress in that direction. I'm going to start by loving myself in a more proper way. I'm going to then compound that effect by showing love to other people in a more healthy and proper way. And through that compounded action of good, healthy self-love, followed by acting on that love and loving other people, treating other people the way we would like other people to treat us, the golden rule, we can start building relationships that are a lot better, that are a lot healthier. Maybe not perfect relationships, but we don't have to be about perfection in this world. We just have to be about doing a little bit better every day, making progress. And that's the beauty of that one affirmation. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. And you need to supercharge that. Tell yourself, no matter how hard the road ahead looks, no matter how difficult your struggles seem to be, no matter at what level of stuck you happen to be stuck at, I can do all things through God who leads me, who directs me, who loves me, who dwells within me. And you can find Bible verses like that. You can find other scriptural verses. If you don't read the Bible, if you read something like the Bhagavad Gita, the writings of Buddha, the Tao Te Ching, you can find this truth within all spiritual and religious traditions. Find it within your heart to believe that. Elevate it into your subconscious mind. It may already be buried in your subconscious mind already, in which case just elevate it into your conscious mind. Run with that faith. Book of James, faith without works is dead. A lot of people out there say that they believe, they have faith, they are people of faith. Why not act on it? Why not act on it? Step out on faith. Believe that stuff that they were teaching you long ago in Sunday school. Act on it. Put it into work. See the change it can make in your life. But yeah, the law of assumption. Most people are not aware of it. Most people don't know that those subconscious minds are playing havoc in the back of their heads. And so they never face those negative thoughts that have been impressed on their subconscious mind. And so they have no choice. They just express that into their outer world thinking that's my reality. That's the way life is. That's just the way it is. And I can't do anything about it. But when you realize that those thoughts are there and you have the power to starve the ones that are negative, feed the ones that are positive, and start working on your own positive affirmations that do not conflict with the programming that's already there in your subconscious mind, and follow them up, follow those affirmations up with aligned actions. And yeah, you can absolutely change your life and do it in a relatively short period of time. Just think every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. 1% change every day, compounded daily. 6 months, you won't recognize yourself. You think that's too awesome. You think that's just too much of a stretch. Then start using the other affirmation. I can do all things through God who dwells within me. I don't care what religion you are. You can find this esoteric truth hidden away somewhere. And it's probably been implanted in your subconscious as well. And if it hasn't, God has definitely implanted it in your heart. Find it there, use it, put it to work. Okay. It's Ralph signing out. Hope you found some value in this. If you would like to book a consultation with me or my wife, we do tarot readings and spiritual consultations by phone. I do them in English. My wife does them in Spanish. Hit me up on social media. I'd be more than happy to share with you my link, or DM me. We can set up your appointment. But yeah, I would love to talk with you and see if we can help improve your life, no matter what level you may be stuck at. You may be stuck at the low earning level. You may be stuck at a very high earning level. Your level of stuck may not even be about money or position. It may be about relationships, spirituality, spiritual growth. Whatever it is, love to help you out. Love to talk with you. So yeah, hit me up on social media. We'll talk soon. Have a good one. Ralph signing out. Bye-bye.